just be warned that like people here seem very nice and very open and liberal, and not racist, but that's not really true. So maybe if you understood that coming in, then you wouldn't be surprised once you started to see through a lot of the ways that people try to portray themselves here.
I had never heard about Portland. And every time I ask somebody, I'm like, well, how did you hear about it? Especially when I see black people, how did you hear about Portland? And a lot of people say like Portlandia or anything, but I did not know about Portland like at all.
I heard that was very white. Well, I heard it was diverse, and then I found out otherwise it's just very white.
All I really knew of the city was Portlandia. Which I know locals hate, but it's true. That's all I'd ever seen of Portland.
At first, when I heard of Oregon, I thought of like the Salem witch trials, but that doesn't even take place in Oregon, so there goes that.
A white utopia. Disneyland for young white hipsters.
I grew up in Northeast Portland. When I was younger, I lived on 13th and Skidmore. My dad's house was over by Peninsula Park, Jefferson High School neighborhood. So I've always lived in this area. I think Portland is like a very good representation of white America.
It's kind of scarce out here. It's an African diaspora desert.
Before I got here, a friend was just like, you won't see any black people. And I'm like, dang.
First of all, I've been very strategic from the beginning. I was not going to move to Portland without having set up a connection with black people. So my first connection with black people before I even got here was with my sorors, 8580 Sorority Incorporated. Those were my first, that was my first connection.
I got to the place where I was living, I'm like, I'm gonna explore. So I got on the bus to go downtown to go to the mall. And I drove past this park, and it was a Greek picnic going on. So I saw like black people in like their Delta shirts and their Kappa shirts. I'm like, see, they said there were no black people here. But then that was like the last group of black people I saw in like 3 to 6 months, I think, until I formed my own like black community here.
We moved in on the 5th of July, and that weekend, or maybe the following weekend, we went and saw a play in town called Hands Up. The show brings about a lot of uncomfortable conversations that people don't necessarily want to have about police brutality, and specifically how systemically the police target and abuse and kill black men and women. After every show, they have a talk back. And this was the first time since we've been here that we saw more than like 3 black people in one space. It was nice to see people whose skin and hair looked like mine. I saw brown skin and nappy hair all around.
Obviously, where there's black people, there's community, because that's just, we can't survive without it. But here it felt like you had to kind of crack into like a secret society. You know, like they're doing it on the low, you know, out of sight, and, you know, like Black Panther style or something, just because you can't really do it. You can't do much out in the open here without a target being placed on you. So.
And I've heard this from black locals themselves, is that the black community can be very cliquish here. So if I'm unfamiliar, if they don't know me, they won't really speak. If I see another black local on the street, they're just like, they're not looking at me, they don't want to make eye contact. But there are some locals that I have met that are like super proud of the community that they come from, and they come from a unapologetically black family where it was encouraged for them to be who they are. And so it's like a good mix of like being proud and trying to be invisible.
When I first got here, I didn't know, but now what I realize is that the black community here is like really underground and closely knit. There's a lot of pride within black Portlanders, and I really admire it. I just wish that, you know, it would sometimes be extended to everyone. But I understand. I think that the newcomers, like me, like you, like many of us, we are, you know, creating a new culture, like bringing our culture from around the country to Portland as well, and I think that's shaking up Portland as well. So
Black locals are, I feel like I should say we, because I've been here 20 years, but I still don't want to give in to being a Portlander. So the black locals they're pretty kind. They're weird, but I mean, keep Portland weird. There's just secretly a mecca here of talented, intelligent people.
There's a cool, like, emerging scene of Portland blacks that's kind of taking shape, which I really like. There's a lot of really talented rappers that grew up here. I think it's kind of slept on, but yeah, I actually work with some people around here from time to time.
I'm more along the lines of, until you prove otherwise, I assume that you ain't shit. And so the city of Portland has kind of been in that vein for me.
There needs to be more diversity here, and Portland has it has a very toxic history, and I feel like they're trying to cover that, and we don't need to forget the past. We need to learn so that we don't repeat it.
in some ways, Portland, really holds the torch, especially like gender diversity and, those kinds of things. But as far as race relations, many people here don't have the language to speak about this intellectually. And if they do have a language, it's more like appropriated language. Like it's like people are kind of like just repeating things, not really understanding them.
And we had like all those white supremacist rallies that were happening downtown, and it's just like some of the white people were just like, I can't believe that took place. It's just like, it's always been here. None of you wanted to recognize it, or you just wanted to say that you weren't that person. And so that has made me question the integrity of the city and just like their overall passive aggressiveness when it comes to anything, particularly concerning race. Because it's okay to put up a Black Lives Matter sign outside of your home, but when we actually want to talk about Black lives, and it's like, oh, let me shut down and be quiet. Because now you're talking about it. See, I put my sign out. Like, I'm for the cause. It's like, but that's not enough. It's just a city, to me, when it comes to political and race issues like that, where it's not enough to present on the outside and wear your t-shirt and say you represent this cause, but to like talk about and engage with it. Yeah.
This place prides itself on its liberal thought and its free thought and things like that, but there's something there where they feel like it's a competition to be more open, and it seems fake, and I don't trust that. And I know they're trying. Like, we're all human, but I don't trust it.
Coon Chicken Inn. Never heard of that? Yeah, there used to be this franchise restaurant called Coon Chicken Inn, located here in Portland. It's self-explanatory, right? Coon Chicken Inn, and the entrance that you walked into the entrance, and the doorway was located in the mouth of this huge blackface, big lip blackface mascot.
When? How? Like,
I can't remember the year.
What?
Like, get on your Google train and yeah, look it up.
okay.
Like, it was something that everyone saw coming, and there was a lot of Black people saying, "Don't sell your house. This is gonna be worth some money." Like, obviously, it's not that easy a lot of times. If you're in a tough financial situation, like, you might need to sell your house. Neighborhood looks a lot different in terms of businesses popping up in places like Williams, Vancouver, Mississippi Street. It's crazy different. I used to ride my bike over there as a kid, and it was like just a street, and now it's like a district. I feel a little isolated at this point from a lot of my upbringing. I don't see people as much that I used to run into, it's almost strange when I do run into at least black people from high school, and it's just like, whoa, you're still here. Like, it's good to see you.
It's kind of sad to see like the loss of a community and the people that still remain, like the hurt they must feel not being able to recognize, parts of their childhood or like what they can show their children because they're no longer black. That must do something to a person's psyche to just like not have any type of like history or no proof that it was once this like vibrant thing, because it's no longer.
We as a black community, we as black people now, we can't get soft. We can't not be able to hear, say, think, contemplate things, because I feel like we've always been at the forefront of that.
To any black person that's thinking about coming to Portland, to any black person that's just recently arrived in Portland, I will advise to you, one, before you come, find housing. Because shit's expensive out here. It's like $1,200 for a studio, and ain't nobody got time for that kind of foolishness.
Communicate. I was walking into my H&M, and a black man walked up to me. He's like, "Hey, brother, I just want to say hi, man. Just, hey, how you doing?" I thought that was beautiful. We need more of that.
We need a cultural center. We need a center that black people can go and be welcome and it just be ours. We don't have any space to come together as a group to unite at all. Like, to talk about stories, to create art. We don't have any of that. Like, not one person has that here. So I would definitely invest in having a huge culture center.
Don't listen to the narrative that like Portland is just so white, there's no black people here, because like we are here. Percentage wise, we're not very big, but
Portland can surely use a lot more of that unapologetic energy. It will make them uncomfortable, and it causes a rift, and it in a rift in a good sense.
It's almost just like some Game of Thrones shit. We got to figure out how to get in, and play the game.
So I'm living black in Portland. That fact is so important. Portland is the whitest city in America. I'm telling ya. I'm telling ya. I found my black peeps. You got to. It's the only way to survive. I'm telling you. The whitest city. That ain't no joke. Passive aggressiveness, yo, it ain't no joke. You're smiling, but you're mad. I don't understand. Are you mad? Are you happy? Or are you sad? Because me, I'm kind of glad. Just tell me what you feel. This feels also surreal. Am I living in a paradox? Am I living in a bubble or a box? Living black in Portland, that fact is so important. Your people so annoying. I'm walking down the street, why you staring at me? I can see your eyes, bro, why you glaring at me? Are you scared of me? Are you enamored by me? I can't tell, but oh well, 'cause you still staring. Don't touch my hair, that's what Salon say. Yo, don't touch my hair. That's what I got to say. Living black important. That fact is so important. Be yourself. Don't nobody else. Yeah, that's what I gotta.
That was a rhyme. Good shit. Yeah.
And stack your money up. Because it's expensive as hell. Be smart. And drink water. Yeah.